40 cents an ounce. Now some thoughts on today's market from David Brochu of Strategic Point Investment in Providence. You noted our story about what some figures indicate Rhode Island's unemployment rate really is, 19%. That's got to be bad generally for the economy.
Yeah, it is. Across the board, we've lost a lot of jobs. And tomorrow we'll get the non-farm payroll report for last year, or actually for January. And they will do a benchmark revision, which means they're going to correct all the mistakes from last year. So we're going to see 800,000 jobs lost for January. Now, we didn't lose that many in January. We might have added a few jobs in January, but we lost 800,000 more jobs last year than they actually tallied up during the year. And this happens every year. It's just usually a small tally. This time it's not so small. So when you see that number, remember that's already happened. That happened last year.
Now, will that affect the stock market?
It will a little bit, but most people who do this for a living, we know this is coming. We know this revision comes every year. This one happens to be huge, and the information has been put out so that everyone has gotten used to it and ready to go. If you're not in the industry, you're going to see the number tomorrow. You go, oh my God, we lost another 800,000 jobs. Yeah. It's true, we did. We lost them last year.
All right, so what is fueling the market for its up or down movements today?
Yeah, not much. What we're looking at really is, think of the market like a ball on a table, and we've pulled the table out from underneath it in '08. And it fell, and then it bounced right back up again, and now it's going to, bounce slower and slower and slower until it finds some equilibrium. In the next 6 to 12 months, we're probably okay. There's a lot of cash laying around. The Fed's going to keep the faucet going. But over the next few years, what everybody has to get used to is the idea that there's simply not as much money out there. And that means we're going to see lower valuations. If you're risk averse, you really have to be honest with yourself and say, look, I'm going to stay on the sidelines here because the markets aren't going to rescue you anymore. And that's something people are having a hard time getting their head around.
All right, so what's an alternative to stocks?
Well, we like fixed accounts. If you're a really risk-averse investor, you've got to look at some of the old-fashioned stuff. You've got to look at fixed annuities. You've got to look at municipal bonds. Even government bonds, you have to be careful right now because they're bid up a little high. So therefore, turn to savings bonds, believe it or not, and I bonds, things that are going to give you returns based on inflation. You've got to accept a lower return for the return of your money, because it is going to be a period of time when just getting your money back is going to be a big deal. The
I bonds change the interest rate twice a year, May and November, I think. What's the current rate now, if you know?
Current rate, well, I focus on the tips, which are the bigger of the two. It's 2.2% against a principal amount that adjusts based on inflation. And you can buy those through exchange-traded funds, and it's stable. You're not going to make a lot of money on it, but you are going to hedge your bet against inflation, and you have government guarantees. You have the U.S. government guarantee, although Moody says they may mark that down. So, okay, whatever that's worth.
Okay. Thank you, David, from Strategic Point Investment. That's our business report for this Thursday morning, 20 minutes after 6 now.